Welcome back, everybody. Today I think it's day 3 of this watercolor party for Luca's anniversary, and today I'd like to paint a little bit more crazy. Maybe you remember the sketch from yesterday I did. I will paint the same motif, but I hope completely different. So I put this here beside. This was a reference photo. And by the way, today I found this old catalog from, I think it was 2018. And so it's watercolors from 2016 until 2018. And it's the catalog for my first solo exhibition. And the funniest thing about it is that in 2016 I started my friendship with Luca's watercolors and my blog too. So this was probably the time when I got serious about watercolors. But the first initial was a visit in Detroit in 2014, and I've seen all these abandoned houses there, and they fascinated me so much that I decided I would like to draw them first. This was just pencil drawings. Or they took 3 days or something like that. But then after a time I had the feeling I should better paint these old houses. And so I came back to watercolor after almost 25 years. But now let's start. Maybe I'll show you the motif again. I hope you can see it. And I have my sketch lying here beside me. I can, if I need to, I just can put an eye on it. So, and I like to start with this big flat brush, because I told you today it will be a little bit different. And I don't know what the result will be like. It's just having fun. So you may remember there was a shaded side of the house, and there was a smaller building here. And what I've seen in the sketches, that the perspective is, for my taste, isn't strong enough. So I should try to put in a little bit stronger perspective here. Like that. So by the way, this is cobalt violet. There might be some other paints in my palette. I think you can see the palette on the video from the top, but not here. So I hope you can see. Today I will paint with a full color range, and I will post a photo from the palette I use afterwards. But now let's concentrate on painting just a little bit, because usually you should not even talk when you paint. So yesterday I started with lines. Today I start more in a watercolor typical way. But of course you can make lines with this flat brush too. So, and what I know for sure is that I want one of my favorite colors, cobalt turquoise, in the picture, and I thought it might be nice for the water here. And I'm already thinking about the reflection on the water. So today it's a little bit cooler here. We had a heavy rain and thunder 1 hour ago. But now it seems to be nice. The church bells are ringing and the birds are singing. I have the door to my balcony open, so because I really love this atmosphere. Then I don't even need music. Usually I would probably listen to some music. Maybe even some heavy metal or something like that. But I think it's better if I don't punish my followers too much. But normally music is important for me. It inspires me more, and I even write my own music for painting. And this is pretty good for me it is pretty good to strengthen my imagination. So when I make music, I try to bring the feelings I had while I was painting into the music, and the other way around. And I have the feeling that this has been pretty good. So I'm not really looking for the colors of the reference. It's nice and it would be a beautiful natural watercolor, but I like to try something different today. So maybe it could be a dark and stormy day like it was today. Maybe even a little bit of autumn. So this is English red. This will be my trees. Add a little bit of burnt sienna. Something. I hope you can see you can do so wonderful things with this big flat brush. I really love it. More red. So I'm trying to find a more abstract language for the plants, trees. Let's try something here. You remember what I said about balance? This is it. If I use some ultramarine here, I have to use it on another place in the picture too. Then you can even work with pretty strong colors and it still does not hurt the eyes too much. Sometimes we want to hurt the eyes, but of course we like to paint pictures that people like sometimes. So cyan blue, ultramarine is there. More to this extreme. And now one of my other favorite colors from Lucas, real orange. So I just let myself be inspired from what happens on the paper again. It's similar to the floral paintings. Going to connect this here a little bit more. This is really fun. Change to small. This is now 50mm. Of course, you can do the same stuff with it. So I'm not really sure if I can finish this one today. If not, I will continue with it tomorrow. But let's see. So now I want some more darkness here. And this is where indigo comes in pretty nice. Something violet. Yes, it already looks a little bit like autumn. So now I use this big flat brush again and take off a little bit of paint here and there. And this way I can give the background a little bit more texture. It's important that you don't do the same brush stroke again and again. I'm just trying to find out what can I do with the brush. Oh, this was maybe a little bit thick, but I don't care. So there are people, and I think it's correct for the classical style of watercolor painting. There are many people who say that watercolor is the highest art form in painting because you can change anything, and I think it's really true for the classic watercolor, but I think in modern watercolor you should know about the rules too, and then break them or forget them, but it's good to have them somewhere. So when something doesn't work completely and it's all messing up, then maybe it's really good to come back to the classic rules, because you can always learn from them what you might have done wrong. There's some Prussian green. This would be nice for darkening this a little bit. keys a little bit more dirty. Suggesting the reflection on the wall. I can use this Chinese brush too for a few strong elements. So now I blend everything a little bit. So the brush should be pretty loose when doing this, because if you press too hard, you take off too much paint. So I use this cyan blue here for the shadow, I think. I mix it a little bit with ultramarine. So everything is still pretty wet on the paper. And I think this is called, the paper is still active. So there is a reaction between what you paint new, what is on the paper, and what it does on the paper. This area should be really dark. you see we already come to some darker parts of this picture. With a smaller flat brush you can, in this size you can simulate some stones pretty good just by using the brush. A little bit different with them. Okay. I think I go on with the Chinese brush a little bit. First take some violet. So this area should be darker too, to give more drama and more contrast to the roof and the building. We think about try this way. Yeah, I think that's going good. So this painting is so much fun. Sunburnt sienna with indigo. So the scratching only makes sense as long as the paint is wet. Sometimes it does support the painting with a new accent. But sometimes I also overdo it and then the painting might be ruined. You can only learn this by trial and error. So again, some cobalt turquoise. And with these plats I try to simulate the leaves of the trees, because I'm probably too lazy to paint each leaf on a tree. And it brings a dynamic I'm looking forward to my watercolor. Because you can use these splats to simulate a direction depending on how you hold your brush. And now I want to get the light from here, but maybe this autumn wind from here against the house. And I hope these will support this feeling. A little bit more yellow with the I think this makes a nice contrast to the dark sky here. So this small Chinese brush, it has a pretty fine tip, and this is perfect for doing these splats and smaller lines. So I'm not painting details, I just try to simulate them, I would say. Because the most important thing for me in watercolor painting, for myself, is to create my very own and unique language. And for this I just thought I should use my brushes with all their opportunities. Holding them different, just trying to make the most out of a brush stroke, of a single brush stroke. Maybe I should paint a tree here too, but with the color of this house to connect it more. So this is still a small brush and you can do so many crazy, wonderful things with it. brushes. My last trip to Amsterdam, and this was 2016. And I found them before I have visited all the great art shops in Amsterdam, bought paints and brushes and something. But then I came to a Chinese food store, and they had Chinese souvenirs too and cooking supplies. And then I found on the 4th floor of this house where the shop was, I found these brushes in a box, and also single ones for just €1. And I used these Chinese brushes since then, and they are my favorite brushes. Sorry to all these great companies. They, of course, they make great brushes too, but I don't know why I'm so crazy about these, because sometimes they lose a few hair, of course. It's not high quality, but they allow me a pretty unique kind of painting. And I always hold the brush at the end of the handle, because if I want freedom, my brush needs some freedom too. It's almost like a good friend, well, it should be. Of course, sometimes you have to treat them pretty bad to get what you want from them, but so most of the time we watercolor painters use our tools pretty tender, I guess. I would so much like to turn this to the camera right now, but I'm sorry, it's not possible, because this is too early, because then I would lose too much control. But like I said, there will be from the top video maybe tomorrow on Saturday, and then you see everything. Should the half timber get? Good question. Maybe I can try something really strange. Magenta. Now I have to look on the reference photo for the first time. But not too too much. I don't want to lose this feeling that comes from myself. So now I'm bringing some orange here. And now some English range. This would be nice here too. So I think you can do this style of painting. Maybe you can do it with these little paint pans, but it's much easier when you use tubes and big palettes because you need space. Sometimes I'm even inspired by what happens on my palette when the colors mix there. If you're more the accurate painter, you will probably never explore this feeling, and maybe you don't want it, but I really recommend the feeling of painting messy. And inspired by what happens on the paper. And these Chinese brushes are also great for suggesting plants. Let's see. Did I tell you that this is so much fun? I think I did. Sorry. Balance. Inspiration. Yeah, I think it's getting there. So what's better than happy painting? Exactly, happy painting with a nice result. And to be honest, I don't have this too often. I think with the watercolors I painted so far in the last few years, which might be between 2,000 and 3,000, there might be, let me say 50 that are okay in my view. So if I would be depending on earning money with the painting, this would be pretty unprofessional. So the most important thing is that I can finance my painting. And meeting other people to paint together or talk about painting. I worked as a commercial graphic artist for almost 25 years, and I will never do a painting for money again. Of course, if somebody likes to buy one, it's okay, but I wouldn't be, I really don't want to be depending on it. Because first of all, I think painting should be for ourselves. For me, this is a real therapy. There's no other stuff I can do where I have the feeling that I'm so close to myself and it feels pretty good. Yeah, really, it feels like a blessing. And then I found out that the worldwide watercolor community, these are so great people. I've never met one during the last 6 years who I didn't like, so this is wonderful. Yeah, I think it's getting some fire. I love to top some darker colors with a brighter paint just from the tube. Because there happens so much on the paper then. Yeah, but this was exactly what I was afraid of. Because when I paint this wet, I can't finish this one today, so I have to continue tomorrow. Because I think now it's in a stage where it should dry, where I can review if the colors are still deep enough when they are dry. So I will post a picture of this one in the stadium it is right now. And tomorrow at the same time then it should be really dried good for another layer. More details. And especially the roof. I have to think about the roof too. I want to leave some white, but not too much. I think this, with the contrast, should be the brightest part in the picture. So I hope you did enjoy until here, and if you like, tomorrow we will continue this painting, and I probably paint another one parallel, because this is the way I usually paint. I would now bring this in my storage room, let it dry and start another one, or just work a little bit more on another dried one. I think I've always about 10, yeah, I think 10 unfinished works in my studio here, and I can always come back to them whenever I feel. And this really helps me to think more about my kind of painting and not so much about the motive, because okay, it is a motive, yes, but I don't want to copy the motive. I just want to bring in myself, my soul, my feeling, my interpretation. Some yellow here. Okay, see you tomorrow, and I think I have a surprise for you. I heard something about some ebooks packages you can win, and there's something special from Lucas too. But more about that tomorrow, and thank you for watching. Happy painting. See you. Bye bye.